Welcome everybody to ACES53. Ed, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm good. It was the pause there for a minute when it started. I'm like, is it started? Is it not started?
People always do. Are we live now?
Yeah. Are we live? Are we on there? Does this thing work?
Yeah.
What
I'm
is
tired.
ACES53? Oh,
you said, how am I doing? I'm tired. And you
tired?
never say that to an old person because they go, well, my hip is killing me.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things. The older you get, the more you talk about your ailments, right?
Something like that.
Guess what spot I found today? I was just getting this done. I was getting that done. So, anywho. Yeah. All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. Thursday, ACES53. What does ACES stand for? Attitude, commitment, enthusiasm, and smile. Ed ran across that in college, and that's what we decided to title the YouTube channel and when we go live. So,
and the 53 has to do with the Joker, which is that unique ability you bring to the table. And right. I'm going to jump right into this. I was on I don't want to say I was on a podcast the other day, I do a lot of inner Edison stuff. That's funny. I almost grabbed my black mug. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. The one that matches your white one.
Yeah. I love this stuff.
Oh, it's great. But it's just, I like the one that's the English version when it's completely backwards. The handle's on the wrong side. The one that says, I remember a ray of fucking sunshine or whatever.
Yeah. I've got one. Hold on. Let me go get one while you're talking.
Yeah. And then, so I was interviewing a guy on Inner Edison, and he had just did a book that just came out this year regarding, flip-flops of business, how businesses flop. And he came up with different things. And one of them was like, where, you answer these questions, you find out where you are in the stage of your business and where you are all the way through their 5 different stages. I think I wrote them down, but that's not the purpose of what I'm talking about. He's got believer, showman, then the last one's Buddha. And he came up with this whole thing, and basically it's about why are you doing what you're doing, what, all the ways. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but what was funny about it is we're talking, I'm like, ACES53 works for everything, not just sales, but pretty much, right? It's your attitude, commitment, enthusiasm, and then the smile. That could be just what you're doing in your business, what you're doing to talk to somebody. It doesn't have to be just for sales. And I was like, wow. And the Joker, that unique ability. Because I found out, I don't know if I told you this, and I'm not trying to brag, but I was doing some testing, and there's usually somebody who can come up with an idea, right? There's a lot of those people. Then there's somebody usually who can sell that idea. And then there's only 15% of the population that can do both. And I'm one of those. So that's why I get it. That's why I hate running a company.
Yeah.
I'm more of an idea. Huh?
I got the coffee cup.
I have a great, that's not the one I was talking about, but anyway.
I know it was one of the ones I have. I just don't use it nearly enough.
So so the issue, going through all this stuff and re-looking at, you got to look at your company. You got to see what you're doing, revamp it. I'm tearing up my stuff because of where our industry is, and re-looking at stuff. And it goes back to that statement that I ran across from, Steve Sims was saying about one of his friends who said, did this happen to me or did this happen for me? Yes. And I think it's a great statement. And we need to make sure that whenever you run into this kind of stuff, you need to relook at it that way. Did this happen to you or did this happen for me? So for the first, 8 months, I was really pissed about what happened to my company and with everything that was going on with the industry. And then I looked at it, well, maybe this happened for me.
Ironic that that's the topic of today, because today's my 1-year anniversary of being fired, right? After being in a company for 21 and a half years. And
well, it's not the topic. Today's topic is rising above the noise and becoming the authority in your industry. But it just happens to be what we're talking about right this second.
Yeah. And so but I gave myself a day to be mad, right? Because it was fired, no severance package, nothing. And they stole our PTO or took away our PTO, so the company can make more money. And so
it was one of those you out.
Yeah, they didn't pay us out. They just said, it's gone. You have X amount of days to use it. And then they didn't give us, there weren't enough days to use it. But anyway, let's change it. I gave myself a day to be mad. And then how did this happen for me? And that's exactly it. We got to start looking at everything of how do you look at everything through a different lens? If you sit and wallow in pity, regret, whatever, you're never going to be able to chase what you want to do. I agree.
Yeah. I'm smiling because my employee, George, is trying to get into the thing. He doesn't see that I'm on air.
Gotcha.
I call them my employees.
Your employees. So picking up,
I do have those, but they're not here in the studio. Just my dogs.
Right.
Yeah.
With what we were talking about on Tuesday,
Mhm.
how do you stand out in your industry? So one of the things we talked about is you got offered a chance to be in a documentary and
I know,
you
but
jumped
back up.
through
I don't
hoops.
hold on. Let's
Yeah.
stop for a second. I want to stay back to what you were talking about, if that's okay,
Mhm.
for a few more minutes.
Oh yeah.
All right, and you were on you've been on a bunch of podcasts. You were on live the other day with
Mhm.
what's his name, Joseph. I'm just trying to make it. I'm Ted. He's
Yeah.
got to be Joseph or something. And yeah, and you were on there, and you were saying how you had to give up what you gave up, and where are you now because of it. And basically that
Right.
goes back to what you just said, is how you were mad for a day and then you focused, and now you're moving forward. It took a while to get there, and
Yes.
luckily you had some money to live off of, but
Mhm.
it's much harder when you don't.
Correct. I talked to a guy the other day that we hopped on a Zoom and we're just discussing, and he's in that same spot. His business is not getting anywhere. He's maxed out all of his credit cards and he really has no idea what he's going to do. And there was a guy, Bobby Castro, billionaire, talked 2 or 3 months ago that that's kind of the state of where a lot of people are in
Mhm.
society. Is they're already defaulting on their first credit card, getting ready to default on their second. It's the highest they've seen in a very, very long time. Now, not to be doom and gloom, look at some people that inspires people to take action, right? If you have a backup plan, sometimes you just sit around and go, oh, well, I hope things work out. And I'm guilty of that. I've done that. But when the rubber meets the road and you start having to get creative, that's where a lot of people make things happen. You hear the stories of people like, what was it, The Rock, who showed up to California with $7 in his pocket, or $13, something less than $20,
Well,
right? And look at where he's at
Arnold
now.
Schwarzenegger too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same thing.
But the Rock's a little different. His dad was in the business. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, you know, they knew who he was, right?
Mhm.
He talked about it on one of the things. It's like, they were like, did you see this guy? And now you're going to be the main stage. You're going to win it all today. I
Mhm.
mean, and it does help when you have that. And that's okay. Somebody opened the door and you ended up walking through it.
But he also
And
transitioned it. You're right. He had the legacy that he could follow in the footsteps, but he went from being just The Rock, one wrestler, to action star,
right, I
then got
understand.
into, different businesses as well.
Well, it's like Arnold. He owns more real estate than anything.
Right.
If most people don't realize that about him. He with whatever he made, he bought real estate and in the freaking place to all, you
Oh yeah.
know.
California, Venice Beach. His
Yeah,
story is amazing.
yeah.
If you ever, I think there's a documentary out on him now,
There
but
is. It's on Netflix. It's on, yeah, there's Arnold
yeah,
one.
he did an
But that we're
interview with
not,
somebody, and
yeah.
it's crazy. Like, he was doing that construction work, and him and the guy would argue on purpose. And he'd go, oh, no, no, I'll help you out. That guy wants to charge you too much. And that's how they basically were getting their construction jobs. But like you said, Venice Beach, all those areas, any money he got coming in, he immediately invested in real estate.
Right. And that's smart, because a lot of us wouldn't do that when we're starting out.
Right.
We're going to hold on to it to see how we're doing. But back to the whole, when you don't have something to fall back on, you're right. It usually helps you move forward. But
Yeah.
it's the stress. A lot of people, the stress is too much. And in my industry and the real estate industry, we've had a lot of people commit suicide recently.
Really?
Yeah,
Oof.
because of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really, it's not, it's, I don't, dude, I don't talk about this shit enough on my other show. I don't want to talk about it here, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, this whole, we don't have to be where we are.
Right.
We didn't need to be 5% higher in interest rates. We could have been just 2% higher in interest rates on time, but this is just how things are. And it's again, you can't just close your eyes and check a box. You have to
Right.
figure out what you're planning on doing, and you got to focus on it, make a plan. And I know this is about rising above the noise, but it's also, you got, what is your plan? Where do you want to be? Who is your perfect client? What
Right.
is your niche? You need to niche this thing down so low that you don't have a problem. And that's what they talk about, your avatar when it's online. Who are those people? What
Mhm.
are the pain points of the clients that you're trying to hit? Because the other day I said, well, I don't know if I said this, but I've had a lot of video go viral. And then recently I had one that didn't do anything. I was like,
Mhm.
what the hell? And it's because I didn't hit any pain points.
Yep.
Right. And and it's like, okay, if I take out this, redo it and put it back, I guarantee it will take off. And that's the thing, is we focus too much on a lot of stuff. Well, we do these shows and then we cut them up and we put them stuff, but maybe people don't want to see that.
Right.
That might not be what is everybody wants to see. They want to maybe see a dog or something. Who knows what they want to see at that time.
That's the whole point, right? Put out what you think people want, but pay attention to what people actually watch and like and forward on. So don't just keep putting out content. Yes, it's important to have consistency in content. That's one of the things I want to talk about later is I I got an extra 5,000 people off 2 videos, but now I'm consistently getting, a couple hundred people added a day. So I was at 10,000 for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. I mean, for a very, very long time. And now I think I just crossed over 17 because a few
Well,
videos.
you went past me. Damn you.
Oh, are you on Instagram?
Oh no, Instagram I'm at 23.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought you're higher. So I was at 10,200.
I thought you meant TikTok.
Oh no, TikTok, I don't get that much of a following there. I post there, but I don't boost anything there, which I probably should.
Well, go back to that, and that's you don't have to boost them to get them to do well. But I know a lot of people in my industry, they boost every single one of them to get them to look how great I am. It's and again, it's not about that. And just like we talked on Tuesday about the book funnel that I'm doing, that I'm getting, you need to have a book. You need to have, what are you doing? Oh, I was like, all of a sudden these things are popping over here.
Yeah, I'm putting up banners that were
You're distracting me. You need to find out what that is that you can do to be the authority in your industry, right?
Right.
Maybe that's not radio. Maybe that's just a podcast. I don't mean that wrong, just a podcast. But there's books. There is, and while you're talking, I'm going to go and find the book thing where they it's a word I'm looking for. All they do specialize in just short books and create them to be sent out for the funnel, saying this book is for $9.99 of shipping, when really the book costs $2 and they ship it out total. So you make some, and then you have your upsell and then your other stuff. But that's what their goal is. That the book funnel, what was it? The book funnel formula book. That's what that was. It was a small book, but that's exactly how he did it. And he upgraded. Do you want my course? Do you want this other stuff? Do you want all this other stuff? And it's amazing what we can do in this day and age if we get off our ass.
Right.
And I'm not knocking anybody. It's difficult. You just got to get moving on something.
It is. A lot of people, not everybody, a lot of people have that fear of putting anything out that for fear of attack. So they don't like putting out emails, don't like recording videos, don't like being on podcasts, don't like being on stage, don't like being in the front of the room. But what you start to see this day and age, consistency wins, right? When you start posting regularly, like you talked about, when you used to pay a company to go and do your videos and everything else, but the problem was the lag in time, right? Then the current things weren't there. If you have consistency and you keep posting, people start to come your way. And, if people start reaching out, one of the scariest things for me was putting anything on my personal page. It took me forever to pull the trigger. Putting it under subtle skills, no problem. But the very first time I put it out there, I was like, oh shit, family will be on there. People I went to high school with will be on there. People I hang out with who don't know what I do. It's that fear until you get it out there. Then once it's out there, you're like, okay, now I just need to do follow-up. Because it's that consistency that pays off. Are you posting consistently? You and I've talked, like, are you emailing your group? Are you doing a newsletter? What are you doing to consistently stay top of people's mind in a distracted world?
Right. And you have, what are you doing?
Me personally?
No, whoever that I'm asking everybody, what are you doing? That could be you if you want to reply to that. Yeah. And one of the things I'm trying to explain to people is when you're talking to people and you're on these podcasts and you do radio, doing that kind of stuff, it's always you. It's never listeners. It's never our people. It's always you, because you're connecting with that one person, and that's how you have to do it. And your videos are the same way. You do it for that one person. Yes. Follow me?
Yep.
And not for everybody. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? Because if you're not connecting with that one person, everybody goes, oh, he's talking about somebody else. Not talking about me.
Dennis Yu, a long time ago, put on, or he was explaining to someone, picture that every time you're recording something, you're just out to help one single person. One person's on the other side of that lens. So imagine your lens and your camera and your phone, whatever it is one eyeball of someone that you want to help. And when you start doing that, it's kind of like man's search for meaning. We do more for others than we'll sometimes do for ourselves. So when you make it about helping someone instead of, oh, look at me get out there, it makes a world of difference.
Well, it's just like when you laughed at me the other day when I was talking about how I had somebody else price my loans because I'd give away the farm. And you're like, yep, I could see that in you, Ed. Yeah.
Yeah. We're all guilty of it, right? I actually talked about this on a different tone the other day. Was like, it's easier to have a booking agent who asks for fees than it is to ask for the fee. So most people will farm out. Okay, hey, good. You're interested. Let me push you off to this person. And that's the reason why you have salespeople at most companies, right? Because sometimes the engineers who build it can't be the ones who sell it because they have that, well, I'll give it away, or, they've got that different mentality. So that's why every company has a sales division of some type, because you need a person to be the one that pushes for the sale. And that's not always the person that's delivering the product. Sometimes Correct. It is, but not necessarily.
Right. And it's, it's your everyday's in to help people, but you need to make money too. And
exactly.
Yeah. And it goes to, I've talked to there's so many people that hit us up now. Right. And we're not amazing, or that I'm just saying, it's like you get all this crap. Like, I want to verify you own this page. Well, here's my fucking finger. And yes, I own this page. Yeah. And back to, you got to go high level on all your stuff. You got to do it. If you haven't done it, you have to do it. You have to get your VAs. You have to get all that there. And if somebody's out there needs a company to go through, I got a couple different companies. It's not affiliate. I'm not making money off of it. It's just, I've been referred to them by a bunch of people I trust. And they're like, use these people. Yeah. And then I ran to the guy that was on he was on my podcast this week, and I want to be on his next week. He told me another company, and they're $2,200 for unlimited podcasts.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Hey,
that might work for me.
Yeah, it's a good price.
Yeah, because I don't know, I probably do, a lot of hours a week. So
yeah. Well, if you do 5 different things.
Oh, I do 5 in the morning.
Right.
And then I do 4 more from the same thing. So that's 9. Then I do 2 inner Edison. So it's 11. And then I do Helping the Brave. So that's 12. And you figure they're all at least, 40 minutes. So if I wasn't tired, I could tell you what that was. 480 minutes, right? Divided by 60. So 8 hours.
Yeah.
That's it.
A week. Right. That's nuts.
No wonder I don't get a goddamn thing done.
Yeah.
Use my language. No, but like today I'm at Rotary. That doesn't count, right? I'm on stage for 45 minutes basically, or 35 minutes up there. And then, and then we have the speaker, then I come back on. And so it's, it's been me I wish I would have done this 2 years ago. Then I would have been a different speaker 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's why I clicked on here, get set up. That probably one of the things that most people do wrong is they get started, but they don't pay attention to what else is out there, right? So you get into your business for so long, then you're like, oh, now I found this tool. Oh, now let me go back. There's a lot of people who start a business, don't even do an LLC first, right? It's like, at least, what do you need? But
the problem is LLC is great and all the but if you don't make over $100,000 a year, it doesn't matter.
Well, no, you still have business write-offs and things if you have an LLC that you don't have. Like, if you mix your personal and your professional, like bank accounts and everything else, it's going to be a nightmare at the end of the year, right?
But no one's saying to do that. So you can get a DBA and have a bank account that's just for business and other stuff. I'm just saying, on average, the cost of a corporation, all this stuff, you really need to look into with your CPA to see if it's worth it to do it before you spend it, because you might be spending extra money up front that you don't need to. I understand for protection and other stuff.
Yes.
Because it was you that was telling me that every seat on Disney has got its own LLC.
Was that you? Its own LLC. That's right.
Yeah. And that's because of protection. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had one since 2017. And it was $500 to set up, and then it's like $400 a year to maintain.
You got to file taxes on it though.
Right.
And you got to pay your state, Secretary of State fees and all those other things.
Well, so mine's all in Delaware, so I don't have to. So I have a Delaware court.
And Texas doesn't have to have a foreign entity.
No, because we don't have a state income tax.
No. Yeah. See, California, we do.
Yeah. So Texas. What Texas has that sucks is a high property tax.
I know.
So
I've been telling that forever. Don't move there. No,
that's all of our friends that have left Texas can buy an extra $100,000 a year worth of a house because they're already paying that in taxes today. Like when we looked at a place in Arizona, I was like, okay, how much are the monthly taxes? They're like, oh, I don't know, $160. I'm like, what? I'm paying $1,400 a month in taxes. So it was that was the thing. When the bigger the house, the more it is. So you can imagine with all you damn California people moving to Texas and driving up the prices, the property taxes that some people are paying are insane now. Absolutely insane. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Because you can sell that house now and move the hell out of there.
Yeah. Well, now the good news is if it's your homestead, the max that they can raise it is 10% a year. So,
that's
every
still
8 years,
ridiculous.
Yes. But
we're only 3% a year, and we're only 1 1/8 to 1 1/4 is our property taxes, unless you have Melrose or something else. But this is ACES53, not a real estate show. So let's get back to this.
Right.
So what you said is get set up.
Right.
I think the first thing is to plan. So we'll just say plan. What is, you got to take some time and find out, what are you going to do? Where are you going to want to be? Here's what you need to do. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? And why the fuck are you doing it? You need to figure that out and get that answer, and then niche it down so greatly that you can get to your avatar and you know who that person is, so you can speak to that person all the time. I'm the worst at it. I do a ton of content, but do I really need to?
Right.
And that's the other thing, because I could narrow that down. And I was just looking at the other day. It's like, what can I get rid of to have more time in this? Because I'm in that phase where I'm re-looking at everything. Because I want to change, I want my life a certain way. And it wasn't that way with the way the mortgage company was set up. Even I was making great money. I was the guy interviewed on Wednesday. So what is today? Thursday? Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah,
and he was working for a sales company selling homes. And he was like, I had more money than I could spend. What I made in a month, my parents made in a year. And he goes, but I was sick. I just couldn't, and it wasn't. So it's not about the money. I know we all think it is, but we need to figure out why we're doing certain things.
Yeah. And you have to look at, that's exactly it. Sit down. You need to know who you're going after. Why are you doing it? What's the way you're going to get paid? Right? Do you need to have a Stripe account? Do you need to have some other way to take in money? You're going to use PayPal, you name it. What's interesting is, looking back, most people think, oh, you've got to reach 1 million eyeballs to do anything. And then I think you were the one saying it on Tuesday. It's better to have 400 followers who buy than it is to have 4,000 who look, and that's where
or only pay $10.
Yeah.
Or
do you know who Adam 400?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So because
you've only talked about him 100 times. So
yeah, have we? Okay. His podcast isn't meant. I have. Yeah. His podcast isn't meant, I think it's got a fairly small following, but he vets his target audience of what he's going for. Right. And so he targets millionaires, businesses. Right now, other people can stumble across it, but that's who he markets his podcast to.
That's his avatar. That is his market. You need to know who that is and stop using the shotgun approach. Use more of a sniper approach.
And what are the things when you're getting set up? Again, what are the things that it's worth to pay someone to help you set up? So, for example, you talk about your guy that helped you with Go High Level. If you were to spend time, how long would it have taken you, days, weeks, or months, to set up everything that he did in a week?
So it was faster than that, but but it's just a matter of, yes, you want to learn it, you want to understand it, just like Opus Pro, understanding that.
Absolutely.
Try Cast Magic. Those are my affiliate links, by the way. Get Opus Pro, and those things are great, and they've set it up now to where you can do different types of video, even long form video. They'll record so that you can post that on your YouTube channel. Everything you want done, but the only thing is the max is 3 minutes, which is okay.
Yes.
But I know we keep going over and over about setting up and doing what, because here's what you need to know. Can you reach your target audience? Right. Radio, for me, maybe not the best because not everybody who listens to talk radio is going to own a home.
Right.
Or potentially want a home. It's the newspaper route. It hits everybody where you want. I always love the direct mail, which I can niche it down exactly to who I wanted. I know the property. I know when they bought. I kind of know where their interest rates are. I know this kind of stuff. I know their balances. I can nail it down to that. But you go on Facebook, you can't do that. Right. And so you got to understand that you got to find out, how are you going to reach the people you want to reach? You only figure that out when you know who that is.
Right. And there are some settings in Facebook and other places that you can say, I'm looking for this age range. I'm looking for this amount of income. I'm looking for this geographic area. You can drill down
You
in a
used to
lot
be
of
able to do that, but not when it comes to home stuff.
true, not for homes, but for in general for audiences. You can say, I only want my ads to be seen in, let's say, Dallas, Texas, right? So if I'm a brick and mortar store, it doesn't do me any good to advertise somewhere else. You know, why would I want to advertise outside of Dallas, Texas?
It depends on what you're selling.
Ways. What's that?
It depends on what you're selling as a brick and mortar store.
Exactly.
Because
Right.
what you
Like
could
for
have some
you,
specialty jewelry or whatever that only you can make that you're selling elsewhere. Yeah.
well, like we've got friends who are realtors. Well, if they're not licensed in another state, it doesn't do them any good to be advertising or trying to push advertising out to other states. Right.
It does if
Now,
if those people are going to move to the state that they're working in,
right. If they're
or they
moving
can
in,
they can refer that to another agent in another
right.
state. Yes.
Yes. But overall, just it doesn't do them any good to say, well, I'm not licensed in that state, but use me if you're going to buy a house. Yes, if they're coming or moving or something, yes. But majority of the time doesn't do them any good.
Right.
But when we talk about getting online, that's the thing. It used to be a long time ago. First, have a business card. After that, have a store. But now we're in the age of you need to be online because online runs 24/7. So does that mean, do you have a Shopify account? You know, do you have all the social media handles that you should be? Are you on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook? We talked about this. Some people put on Pinterest. I don't touch Pinterest. I don't touch Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. For a long time, never used LinkedIn, but that's where most business people are, right? And there's people who are killing it through LinkedIn.
Just again, who is your audience? Who are you trying to reach? How do you reach them? If you don't know those, then don't spend a dime until you know those. You see the comments?
Yeah, I'm laughing about it.
Yeah. I don't like that's really Donald Trump, but that's just me.
One thing when we talked about consistently, being online and everything. Now, one of the other things is, do you want to give it a boost, right? So you and I have talked before. If an ad is doing well and it gets a lot of attention, why not pay extra money to either have that as an ad to boost it on the various platforms? So I forget, it's called Boost on Facebook and Instagram. What's it called on TikTok?
Coins.
Growth.
Coins.
I think when you have a TikTok. Promote or growth. One of those is on TikTok. And so put some money into the different ones. And you don't have to do that yourself. That could be something you have an agency that does it for you. But sometimes if, like you said, you're putting a lot of content out and that one piece of content speaks to someone, why not go ahead and boost that content so it can go to more eyeballs and more potential customers?
Well, I think you want to boot. Here's the easiest way. Find the people who are negative about what you said and engage.
Yes.
Engage them. They're going to be more likely to come back and think they're better. And then other people are going to come to your rescue. And there's more engagement that way than any other way. So if there are any negative people, engage them more. And a lot of people go, oh, that's what's wrong. No, I mean, my thing was, I think I'm at 745,000 on that one, and it's still going.
Yeah.
Right. And it's still, but it's, and I get $1 million every time. Well, good for you. I'm not there. I'm not your status, but that, we're just trying to see what we can do. And whatever the engagement, you have to not just like what they say, you have to make a comment.
Right.
So stop just liking, comment on everything. And then when it starts up again, then do it again, comment again. But somebody was telling me whatever video went viral before, change the title, do a couple things, and then reload it again. Yes. I don't know if I wanted to do that on that one video. So
but you're right. That's what some people do. So we've talked about Ryan before, and he's sometimes reposted the exact same video, but with different titles over and over and over again. And sometimes it flatlines and other times it goes viral. You never know.
Right. You never know.
Right. You're absolutely right, though, on the likes and comments is we like to like our likes. Right. When somebody says something positive, oh, I'm going to respond to that. But you're right. Respond to everything because that's what restarts the algorithm of, I forget what it's called, not the time delay, but it brings it back to life. It's like basically what's the health of that particular post. And when somebody goes negative, respond back soon, right? Because you get credit for responding fast, respond often. Even if they say something stupid, you don't have to go toe to toe with them. You just say, no. Cool. that's your opinion. Here's my opinion on it. And you can change it to a positive. And some
I
people
just,
just
I
won't
just
argue.
say, really?
Yeah. Is that what you put?
Yeah.
Really?
Really? Question mark.
Yeah.
Is that a, yeah, really? This guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't,
Well,
I
it doesn't work.
respond back. I'm like,
It was funny
yeah.
because that one of another agent in Florida posted my thing, and it went pretty viral, but for her also.
Yeah.
But she'd had a couple win 1 million already, and she had to post. What do you think that something posted on TikTok doesn't work for everybody?
Right.
Shocking.
I know, it's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're not here to talk about posting on. I mean, we've been here for 30 minutes. I can't believe it's in 30 minutes. But the main purpose of this is find out what you want to do to become the authority in your industry, because everything's different, right? For me, it was radio, write a documentary, and write a book. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't do the documentary. I was in somebody's documentary. That's helped me. But I saw this, and this is, you got to be very careful with this also. I saw another lady who is a real estate agent who does a lot of posting, and she's got like millions, and she did a video about how people aren't using her because they think she's too busy to do, because she's so busy doing this other stuff. They didn't think that she would handle their transaction because it was not $1 million property. She's like, I want all of your business. The reason I do this stuff is so you can see that I'm here, so I can do your business. And you got to make sure people understand that.
Yes. That's an interesting point that you bring up. And that is, who people are in business is not necessarily who they are on social media and in real life. And what I mean by that is, you always hear about the gatekeepers and, it's so hard to get to the person at the top of the business. If you're trying to get a hold of a CEO and, high level, the C-suites, sometimes those people are harder to get. But you're amazed how many people on social media answer their own DMs, right? And are willing to talk to people. There's a guy named Jerry Acuff, famous in the sales industry. He puts his phone number on his website and in every one of his books and says, if you have a question, give me a call. And he was on one time and he said, I maybe get one call a month, because people assume, oh my gosh, they're famous. They're rich. They're up here. Most people are just people. And they will take your calls. We've talked about before, almost everybody we know who's a speaker answers their own DMs, right? Now, there's some people who filter it through, or they'll have an assistant do some of the posting and stuff, but they tend to answer their own messages.
Or they have fake assistants.
What's that?
They have fake assistants.
That's true. Some have fake assistants.
We talked about that on the other day. Yeah, Amy is calling. Yeah. This is there is nobody Amy, but it's just the easiest way. Like when they were setting up the stuff for me to do my sales stuff through Facebook and all that, which I've stopped, which is the person responding back, their name, it's not me, it's somebody else, is my assistant reaching out. Now it's my team at Ed Parcaut is reaching out to do a review or do this other stuff. And one of the things I found out by using high level is that you can send it to your past clients. I know a lot of people who've gotten 85 reviews just by sending it out to their past clients they hadn't sent it to in the last 2.5 years. By using that, it reminds them. So. Yeah.
It's the tools that are out there are pretty amazing. Like you said, with that part in Go High Level, something that nobody or very few people think about.
Well, they don't get offended. I mean, the bot doesn't get offended like we do, or think we're interrupting you.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's just like, all right, so we use it now, and this is for Rotary for our social events. And you're going to have some people go, well, look at all these questions, because Ralph added on, like, what is your favorite time of winter, of the holiday? What is your, just like throw fucking something in, nothing, and then one guy, look at all these questions. I go, really? 3 extra questions, whether or not you're coming with your spouse.
There's ones that drive me nuts. I'm trying to find it because I got one this morning. Let me see.
Well, this isn't for us, our Rotary, but it's like it's helped us to know who's coming, this kind of stuff. It's supposed to be fun and engaging, right? But some people just aren't fun and engaging. So.
What I think is funny is when people don't pay attention to their own marketing that goes out. So this one company keeps texting me every 3 days. Hey, we're looking to help set up TEDx speakers and, get on one of our calls. And they keep messing up the numbers. So like one day it's, we only have 3 spots open. And then a few days later, we've got 7 spots open. I'm like, well, which one is it?
Well, we have 7 now. We had 3 and people quit.
Yeah. So it's funny because it constantly changes. I'm like, If you're going for scarcity, you should be 7, 6, 5, 4, going down. Not, oh, by the way, now 7 people. Because like you said, well, why? Why did 4 people drop out? So
I don't know why.
it's just interesting how people aren't paying attention to the little things. Like, good for them for sending out the text messages more than I do. But do you read it before it goes out? Kind of interesting.
Well, you just have to nothing's ever going to be perfect.
Right.
So you just get it out, just start doing stuff.
Right.
I like what, I know we bring them up occasionally. Steve says, just get going and then get perfect.
Yeah. Get going, then get good. Yeah.
No, perfect. I want perfect. I don't want good.
See, I just want to be good. But back to what you talked about. What are other things? Write a book. We talked about get on podcasts, have a podcast, right? So get on podcasts, have a podcast. Why do you want to get on a podcast? Get introduced to new audiences. That's how you can build up your business.
Other people's sandpits.
Exactly. Who have they courted? Who have they brought in? And it's a guilt by association in a good way. If you're on somebody else's podcast, it's because they thought enough to bring you on. And we know people who've ended a podcast early and gone, oh, whoops, sorry, we got disconnected. And they said that on purpose because they're like, I will never publish this podcast. But if you do, then that's somebody saying, hey, look at my friend Ed. I want you to meet him. And what do we like? We like referrals.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find this. The book. I'm trying to find that company because this guy, the book funnel formula, had the name of this company that would create small books for you to get. So like for myself, if I want to do a book on you're going through a divorce, how to change hands of the asset, how to do a loan, that kind of stuff, or your parents passed away, there's 3 siblings, and how do you transfer that house to somebody? And there's so many things that I know, and you can make a 100-page book that you could send out to people, and you could do that advertising and then still get additional there's just so many things by using this other company that will print and ship your stuff. So you don't have to spend, $500 to get a whole bunch of books, and then for $2.50 a piece, and then, go put them in a thing, and, it's as you go. And I was like, this is amazing because they got, the guy was talking about it, and I can't find it right now, but I'll make sure I have it for next week on Tuesday.
Sure.
Just to get people to come back. Yeah.
So a few of the other ways, just while we're knocking stuff out, speak for free. That can be podcasts. That can be if you do lunch and learns. If somebody has an event and you're going to get in front of the right audience, why not offer to speak for free? Now, ideally, if you speak for free, it's one thing. If you get paid to speak, it's a whole other, because then that's, again, somebody vouching, not just saying, hey, here's a person, but when they say, I paid to bring this person in, then they go, oh, shit, you must really be worth knowing, right?
Yeah.
So,
and have other people talk about you even more.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. And then kind of like you and I do, partner up with people. What are some joint ventures you can do? Do you have an affiliate program that people have a vested interest to help talk about you and your product? It's pretty common. You look at, why do cars, watches, everything's like we talked about watches earlier Tuesday. Like, why does Tag pay Leonardo DiCaprio to hold their watch? Right?
I don't know. That's just so stupid.
I know if they want to show it on your wrist, I get it, but them holding it like right here in your hand made no sense to me. But you know what? It had to have worked because the ad's still out there at times.
Right.
But it is very, very interesting.
I was trying to find the book, the fulfillment place.
Sure.
But I'll get it for next week.
Sure. One of the last things I think for, since we're on 40 hours or 40 minutes,
40 hours
feels like 40 hours with you, Ed, is pay to be present, right? So do you do marketing? Are you boosting your stuff like we talked about before? What are ways that you can get out in front of people? Do you pay to be at a trade show? Do you have a booth? Is there something that it would be worth it for you to be a sponsor of an event, not just an attendee? I went to one in Nashville in November, and there was a lot of good swag that was in their giveaway bag, and so you look at it, that's a way to get it in front of people that you're not having to pay for marketing, right? I mean, you're paying for the booth, you're paying to be present, and you get to spend time with people instead of paying for an ad that might go to someone. If the conference or the seminar or the association is your ideal avatar, why not invest in it? So,
right. All right. So the name of the place is ACTRACK. So ACUTRACK.
ACU track.
Okay. ACU track. and basically they do fulfillment and their main thing is small books.
Okay,
Small, like 100 pages, right around 100 pages.
gotcha. I'm putting it in a banner right now.
And it's on demand printing, on demand everything. So that way you can, and they'll ship it out for you too. So you don't have to have them. So and they will just send it to each client. Because one of the things the guy said is you want to create your own list. Your list is where the money is. It's not Amazon has that list. You don't have that list. They don't give you the information. Exactly. They don't know who bought the book. So I thought for originally when we were at a mastermind and the guy that was running the talk, he said that when you do Amazon, you can find out, who your client, you can't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, is that why you do a landing page like yours, like Get Ed's book? Is that so they put in there for information, then it links to Amazon?
No, that just the reason I did that is no one can spell my name right.
What do you mean, Ted?
No, the Parcaut part. No. And so that was just easier. GetEdsBook.com to go to Amazon. And because I originally had to go directly to Amazon, there was a problem. Some places didn't like it. They thought it was spam. And so not everybody could log in. So I put it to my webpage. They fixed that. And then he would go over to Amazon. But if I was smart, I would have a book funnel instead of that. And that's what the plan was. Because I talked about this last week. People kind of talked about it, but they didn't explain it the way this guy explained it. And we talked about him on Tuesday, the book funnel. What was the book funnel formula?
Yeah, let me see.
The bookfunnelformula.com.
Yeah, the bookfunnelformula.com.
That's what I just said.
I know. I was double checking.
I can read it right there. So, because I had to go there to find that. So I had to pull up one of his. So he created a course, right? And it's guess where it's in?
Go high level.
Yeah, no, high level. You can add go high level all you want. It's really high level. That's their.
I know, but most people call it
GHL. How about that? GHL.
Yeah, GHL.
But I did, and I saw a post from somebody like, how easy it is to make a course. Have ChatGPT write the whole thing, then you take it, drop it into Canva, it makes the course, and then you can just do like a lot of these guys. They just put their voice over it.
Yep. There's a Billy Jean. I think you and I talked. I know I mentioned it to you. He does an entire ad now. It was after they fired the CEO of OpenAI, and he did an entire ad. And he's like, by the way, this was all done through AI. So it's not him. It's got his avatar, right? It looks like him. He recorded his own voice, did it. So it was a fake him, like a deep fake of him talking. Wasn't really him. It was written by AI, done in his own voice with his avatar. And it looked like him. And I'm not here. It's crazy. Steve talked about at the last event in New Orleans, I guess Ryan Dice and not Perry Belcher, Roland Frazier did an entire podcast that they told AI to write it all. They said a few sentences. AI did a podcast as them with the two voices back and forth and did the entire podcast, and they weren't involved. So ChatGPT wrote it. They recorded their voices. It had them talk back and forth, and the entire thing was done through AI.
Yeah. So on Podcastle, they'll have you say 70 phrases, and it will create. But it's still, to me, because I hear what I can hear the tones and inflections of people's voices where other people can't, and for me, it still sounds like it's a computer.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it'll get better over time.
Of course it will.
This is off topic, but it's kind of on topic. That's why they're inspiring people, maybe, or suggesting that people have a code word for in case you get a phone call from somebody who's traveling or something saying, hey, they left me a voicemail, they need this money, they're in jail or whatever. What's the code word that says this was a legitimate request versus some type of deep fake that's out there? So, and it's scary. You see some of the ones that are done, like I don't know if you've ever seen the deep fake Tom Cruise. What's that?
Meta. I need to confirm that this page belongs to you and being used normally. Confirm here. Click here. After 24 hours not receiving, we're going to cut your page off. Oh, yeah. I just got one of those. Let me see if I can find it. Of course, they always come into the business page. I've got 3 of them right now. Last warning, and this one comes from my favorite, SP Page David. Oh, that looks legitimate. I should definitely reach him. So yeah,
it's
just
funny.
What are you going to do?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I've got 4 different ones.
I can't see it. It's too close.
There you go. Yeah, 4 different ones, all coming in saying the same thing.
Yeah. Well, and it's just to get you to click on that so they can take over your account.
Yeah. Like this one, your page was flagged. Oh no. And what I love is how they have misspellings in here.
Well, yeah, that's the only way they can get away with it.
I know, it's just funny.
All right, I'm calling it.
You're done for the day.
No, I'm not done for the day. I got a lot more to do today.
Right. All right. You want to take us out?
All right. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate you. Again, we do this for you. This is important to us just to get that information out to you. And if there's certain things that you want, especially if you're Donald Trump, as we got on the comments, no, I'm just saying, if you're something you want us to talk about when we're going through this or how certain things, please leave a comment, text us, DM us, whatever it is, get to us, let us know, and we will approach it and we'll talk about it. Again, Brian, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you. And we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
See you next week.
All right. Bye.